Namaste. Hello, my lovely palm trees out there, wherever you are and whatever time of day it is. Happy Monday to you. Welcome to your Monday flow. So thank you for joining me today. We're going to be taking it pretty easy. I say easy, but some of the poses may not feel easy. Some of the stretches might be a little deeper. But what I mean is we're going to be being quite mellow, going easy on ourselves rather, not pushing, getting into that yin energy, that little bit of surrendering energy, that little bit of self-nurturing energy. And if you're feeling a bit depleted or kind of at the other end of that scale, a little bit tense, this one is to come into that really nice neutral space where we can just imagine what it is to exist in the present. So we're going to do that via some nice slow movements, some repeats, and some more restorative poses, and above all, that breath threading gently back to our center. So whenever you're ready, we are going to start off on the floor. We're not going to be there for very long, as I know it's a little bit harder for you to see what is happening when you're there, but do feel free to just pause me and see what's going on if you get a little bit lost. I'll try and be really clear with my descriptions. As always, just going into your poses as much or as far as you feel is suitable. Move back if you need to, and when in doubt, take rest. Let's come to our backs. And no matter what time of day it is always quite an important act to allow yourself to settle and take a moment to really just come into whatever you're feeling and thinking, where our mind is always jumping ahead or reflecting behind. So today we're just trying to come into the present. So whatever time of day it is, come to the ground, vertebrae by vertebrae, your feet at hips distance of heart, and feel that moment of landing. And you might even stretch your arms above your head for a moment if you're feeling any tension through your back. And then just flop your arms either side of your hips, palms face up. So just taking notice of your alignment, where the space is, where the tightnesses are. Your eyes might close naturally, or you might just tell yourself you can just shut down and settle the eyes for a moment. We can hear our thoughts and our breath a little bit better that way. And then just letting your breath happen. Our breath happens on its own, but just let it happen fully. Sometimes we are really involved in concentration or some action, and we're not allowing that breath to fully perform its full loop. Tucking the chin towards the chest and just softening the root of the tongue so the breath is happening from a really softened place without push. When you're ready, just taking your hands gently to the lower rib cage, around the belly, so we can feel the breath expand that space. You might feel your fingertips move apart, and then feel them gently coming back together as that space moves. So I want you to really step into this moment. Whatever that means, whether it's hard to slow down for you, or whether this is just a grateful moment to rest your back and your body. But if you can, just adding that layer of actually searching a little bit behind your closed eyes and just noticing yourself. Notice what's happening within the body, whether the breath is a little bit stagnant or cut short. Maybe we can draw it out a little bit deeper. Notice the light outside your closed eyes, whether it's turning to night where you are, or whether it's really nice and bright. Just noticing what part of the day we're in. then kind of finally, as a physical thing to observe, just noticing if the face is holding any expression from concentration or from maybe some story or thought that we tell ourselves on a regular basis. We can just let that go. So see if you can just dismantle any habitual expression there, gently, gently letting that go. So we're going to take a couple more breaths here, coming from that place of the breath just happening on its own, to drawing it out a little deeper, feeling your belly really fill up. And then opening your mouth up and just emptying out. And through that slightly more forced style of exhaling, we might feel like we can chuck out something that we don't need to keep around. And then one last time. Full breath in. Start to bring your knees up towards your chest. Take a little squeeze of your shins. So your feet might flex here. You might rotate the ankle joints for a moment. Breathe in and feel a sense of release already through your feet, out of their shoes, or just feeling quite nice off the ground, not holding you up. And then just rest those feet. Take hold of the kneecaps with each hand, and we're just going to circle the knees so that you're massaging those lumbars, the lower back and the hips. You might feel your weight across each of those degrees of that circle. And it might give you that extra bit of sensation. And we're breathing here as we stir up the knees, release the back. Gently take those knees off into the other direction. So we're just tracing the circle the other way. Bring your breath in and start to bring your knees into the center again to pull your feet and your hands gently into the air. So you're like a table on its back. All four limbs are sticking out into the air. And then again, you might just rotate the ankles and the wrists and let your circulation drain away from your feet, drain away from your hands. Full breath in, full breath out. So we're going to let that movement become still. Your hands and your feet are just in the air, but try not to put any force through your hands or feet. So they're all a little bit limp in the air. And then just bringing your chin just gently back towards your chest. We're just going to roll your chin gently towards your left shoulder, center, and then towards the right shoulder. And then just do that one more time, feeling a gentle stretch on the right side of the neck. And then the left. And then inhale, bring your head center. And we're going to bend at the elbows and the knees so that your feet and your arms kind of start to just drape down gently from the air back to our semi-supine position. So back to that knees up position. Walking your feet slightly wider than your hips with your knees up. We're just going to allow both knees to move towards your left side. So your feet are almost sticking to the ground here. We're tracing a windscreen wiper movement with both knees to your left. Inhale, bring your knees up and center. And then both knees are going to move over to your right. So we're just keeping the feet gently stuck to the floor as we move the knees from side to side. And you should feel quite a nice generous twist in the waist. You might feel a little extension of the belly skin or the flanks on each side. And your knees are going to feel just that little bit of a twist and extension across the quads as well. We'll take just one more breath. Moving over towards your right, start to just let yourself land there, and your arms might rise up and start spreading in line with your shoulders, or just a little lower than that. We're going to rest here for a moment, allow this twist, allow it to sort of settle, breathing into the left side of the body. And then I'd like you to think of your right foot and start to flex that right foot. As we inhale, we're going to lift that right foot off the ground and land it gently on top of your left thigh, just around where that left thigh meets the knee. So there's going to be small extension turning into a slightly deeper one as we gently pull away that left quad from you using your right heel. So you should feel a little open space kind of blooming in the left hip. Hopefully nothing too forceful, nothing too exaggerated. If there's too much sensation there, just bring that foot back to the ground. And we're just breathing in and out here, making sure that the heels are both flexed. And there's a feeling of slightly drawing away that quad muscle to release it. Listen to that left knee as well, making sure there's no pressure there on the kneecap or the knee muscles. If there is, just again release your foot back to the ground. We're going to take 2 more breaths. And this is a really nice position to really observe something new. This isn't a place we ordinarily get to stretch this part of the belly, this part of the hip and that quad. You might just notice it, breathe into it for 1 more. And then engage your hips, your muscles around the glutes to lift your right foot and plant it back to where it came from. Inhaling, bringing the knees both up towards the ceiling. So if you need to adjust at all to feel centered, please do. And then we're going to take both knees over towards your left. And your head and your chest might be slightly facing the ceiling, or just allowing your head to just find a natural space to land somewhere in between. So again, just appreciate that gentle twist through the belly, maybe through the hip. And then we're going to start to think of your left foot and just flex that left heel. Bringing energy into your left thigh and hip and foot, just enough to rise that left leg, left heel off the ground. We're going to land the left heel on top of the right thigh, close to the knee. And again, we're just dragging that thigh muscle gently away from you, maybe feeling a little space open up near the hip, or maybe near the flanks of your right side of the torso. Listen to the right knee. If there's pressure somewhere within the knee, or there's pressure somewhere within the hip or back, just release that left foot back to the ground where we came from. And again, this one feels sometimes like quite an unusual stretch depending on what your habits of movement are. You might just kind of feel curious about what that stretch is, what muscles are involved here as we breathe for 1 more. We're keeping energy in the left leg for a moment as we bring the left foot off that thigh and down to the ground where we came from. Inhale, bring both knees up and center. We're going to take a squeeze of your shins towards you and just release your back on the ground for a moment, giving it a little stretch. So this time, hands to your knees. We're just going to start to rock forwards and back. So if you're on a really hard floor, or if you don't have a mat, you might not take these repeated rocks that we're about to take, but if you're quite comfortable across your back and you have a little bit of cushioning from your mat, we're just going to rock up, find sitting, and then rock down to your shoulder blades and back up a couple of times. So you're slightly rounding your back and you're just finding a little bit of energetic sort of a massage either side of the spine with your mat. We're just going to take one more. And inhale, draw up. Let's take your right foot all the way away from you, flexing the heel. You might peel your glutes slightly out so you can feel your pelvis bones are aligned and you can actually feel them on the ground. I'm going to lift your left knee up towards you. Full breath in, start to take your left foot with your right hand and we're going to allow this left knee to move outwards. So we're fully breathing into squeezing that shin towards the chest. Try not to let your back sink here or try not to swerve in the shoulders. We want to keep things as expansive and then kind of as softened as possible through the face. Full breath in, full breath out. You should feel that glute muscle here on the left. As we inhale and exhale, you might hear take your left arm underneath your left shin and take your right as well to take a prayer position towards you and just keep lifting your back. So there's a bit more energy here and there's a much deeper stretch than holding that in your hand. If you need to move back to the hand, just come back a stage. We're going to breathe here for 3. Keeping the energy sitting tall in the back, spaciousness across the collarbones, and if we can, a soft jaw here. So we're going to start to release this position. Bring that into your right hand and we're going to step it across to the outer edge of your mat, across your right knee. We're going to take almost an opposite feeling through the chest, grabbing your right elbow in towards that left knee to find a twist. So I want you to think about maybe a 90-degree angle here, so you're just moving yourself a quarter of the way round into your twist. And as you breathe in and breathe out, your fingertips may be giving you a bit of height here behind you on those energized fingertips. And your shoulders sliding down and away from the ears. So we're going to take 2 or 3 more breaths here. Some of you might feel like you could move further around as you stay tall in your back throughout. Or you might use this right arm to lift and land outside the left thigh if you can make this point here and take a little pivot through the chest. So this is quite a deep twist. If you're dealing with any problems in the back or dealing with anything specific in the belly, maybe just staying in a gentle version. So we're going to take our chest round and then our shoulders round and then the head is the last thing to join you in twist. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Start to let that one unroll. So we're going to take ourselves just to the other side, your left arm coming to the inside of the left knee. And we're just going to take your right hand, fingertips facing away from you, behind you. This time the wrist is on the ground. And we're going to end up landing on the outer edge of that right foot as we push into your left foot and find an arm balance to engage all of that outer left side of the body. Taking a full breath in. And a full breath out. Let's take one last breath there before we come back down to your hips. Inhaling, picking up your knee and stepping it back out all the way to your Paschimottanasana. I almost forgot. So we're inhaling, drawing up your right knee. I think it's going to be one of those sessions. So we're going to inhale, bring that up. And exhale, open that one out to the side as we start to connect with the left hand. So you might be into the glute here, sitting really tall. We're breathing in and breathing out. If you feel like you could take it a little bit further, we're going to feed your right arm underneath your right shin. And maybe take the left hand as well in a prayer position. The heel is flexed so that the activity and the angles are really kind of affirmed in your mind. So we know where those angles are. We're not putting those joints under pressure. Taking a big breath in and a big breath out, sitting as tall as we can to get in touch with that glute. Last 2. exhaling, we're going to start to release. Unravel and step that right foot outside the left knee. Taking your left elbow this time to your right knee, we're kind of closing up the chest and the thigh space, fingertips tall behind you as you move right. Try not to forget about those left toes. It's often a case that those are just starting to relax. Want to keep an activity, a flex in the left heel too. Drawing your shoulders down from the ears, moving around deeper if you feel comfortable to. You might be moving with me into this little bit more of an energetic twist. Left elbow coming to the outer edge of the right thigh to move around that little bit deeper. That pivoting energy from the thigh around. Staying as tall as you can, softest jaw you can, and fullest breath as we take another 2. Inhaling, starting to move center and release, taking just a moment for a counter twist, right hand coming to the inside of the right foot. So we're going to end up on the outer edge of that left foot as we press into your right foot. Fingertips behind you on the left are just going to start to energize. Inhale, coming off the ground just to open up that side of the body, tipping a bit of energy into that left shoulder as you press the ground away. Full breath through that side. And full breath out to come back down gently to land. Inhale to bring up both knees. Exhale, let's take your feet behind you and underneath you, making our way back towards our cat's pose. Finding your hands underneath your shoulders, nice neutral spine here. We're going to tuck the toes and come immediately into your down dog, pressing the ground away. Feel that pivot in the shoulders, dropping the head between the arms. Give your head a tiny shake if there's any tension there. Imagine someone's rolling your upper arms outwards for you so you've got space within the shoulders. And we're just going to pedal the heels. One heel and then the other. Like a contented cat, just pouring away at the ground. And just keeping that energy rising and rising through mid and low back, each breath. Take another 2 breaths here. Your knees might want to stay generously bent so that we have more alignment through the back if those hamstrings are really tight. And then the energy is just going to try to rise from the heels, moving down, up towards the tailbone, moving up. So there's opposition through the legs. Don't feel you have to straighten those legs. We'll take another deep breath. Big breath in. We're going to start to look to the hands and step forwards. We'll take a few steps. Feet at your hips distance, spread. Exhale to fold. And here we're in a much deeper stretch for your hamstrings. You might again keep a generous bend. Allow your head to be heavy. And take a deep stretch. Again, pressing down with the heels and lifting up through that perineum, pelvic floor energy and tailbone. Head and chest are nice and heavy. And finding that kind of dangle, that space for your vertebrae. Last big breath there. Let's put a tiny bend in the knees, come up wide with the arms to stand. As your arms rise above you, preposition all the way towards your chest as you exhale. Landing your thumbs at your chest quite heavily for a moment. Just give yourself a moment here to feel your heartbeat. Breathing deeply, eyes closed. Full breath in. We're going to take your left foot towards the back of the mat. Find your warrior 2 position, scrunching your front foot as far forwards as it needs to go to allow this right knee to bend in line with the foot and never further than the ankle. So on top or behind that right ankle. Inhale, we're going to spread your arms nice and wide, shoulders nice and low. And take your palms face down, fingertips stretching out in either direction. So there's power in both directions through the arms. Lower the shoulders and just sit with that gaze across your front fingertips for a moment, breathing in and breathing out. And we're going to find a bit of space in the chest, bringing your hands towards your chest. And as you exhale, we're going to flex the wrist and press space from your shoulders outwards. And I want you to just hold into this position, flexing the wrists, feeling the stretch through the forearms, and maybe closing the eyes and feeling how that space widthways across the chest might have opened just that fraction more as we keep the legs strong and the breath going. Inhale, we're going to turn the palms face up. I'm going to bring the hands together above you as you straighten your front knee. I want you to feel the rise through your ribs. And then as you exhale, we're going to turn your palms face out above you and exhale, lower back right into the line of your shoulders as you rebend the knee. So again, we're coming into this position from another direction, another perspective. We feel the moment that the knee arrives over the ankle and the moment that the hands arrive in line with the shoulders. Full breath in. And full breath out. Now feeling the ribs, we're going to turn your right palm face up and lift out of your right hip as you land your left hand towards your left thigh. Inhale and exhale. We're going to start to peel your right hand towards your shoulder, all up the right fist, and then just spread that away so your right shoulder feels really nice and lowered. Inhale, let's take the arms back to your warrior two. Good, so we're going to move into one more position and then come back here to arrive more fully. Taking your right elbow towards your right thigh. Inhale, we're going to stretch your left arm away from your left foot. Feel that inner groin stretch. Feel the chest opening to the side and all of that space along that left heel to left fingertip line. Full breath in, full breath out. We're going to push level to your warrior two here as we inhale and exhale. Full breath in. Take a front leg to straighten and turn your right foot towards the left. Inhale to bring your hands towards your chest. Just tucking your chin towards your chest for a moment. And then just taking a small neck stretch, moving your left towards your left shoulder with your nose and moving your head center and then towards your right shoulder with your nose. And then center. So we're going to take just a little exchange of weight here, back into your back foot and then forwards to come to the front of the mat. Full breath in, full breath out. Again, those thumbs are at the heartbeat. Full breath in, we're going to step your right foot back, find your warrior position. So you might be scrunching the feet slightly apart to make sure that your left knee moves in line with the front ankle, but never crosses that ankle, is slightly behind or on top of the left ankle. Your back foot between 90 and 45 degrees, strong spread toes and arches are engaged and lifted. As we sit down in that low center of gravity and we feel that left hip stretch, lower the shoulders. So let's come at this position from the shoulders and the forearms, hands to the chest, inhale. Exhale, flexing the palms and pressing your shoulder blades as wide as you can as you stretch your palms away from each other. Big breath in, big breath out. The legs are still staying strong. Inhale, turning the palms face up. We're going to take almost like a slow clap, bringing your hands together as we straighten the front leg. And we're coming back into this position via that lowered shoulders and the strong alignment of your front knee. Inhaling, we're going to flip the front palm, release this side of the body, release the left side of the ribs as we inhale and lift to reverse warrior, lifting out of the hips, right hand to the right thigh. And we're going to bring your left hand back towards your shoulder, ball up the fist slightly, and just bring it away from your shoulder, again to get in touch with the shoulder blades after we've stretched the ribs. Taking your left elbow down to your left thigh, we're going to push away from your crown with your right foot. Rise your right fingertips. Again, find all of that space down your right side of the body. We're keeping the left ear and the left shoulder away from each other by broadening out the collarbones. We're entering a deeper hip and groin stretch here, barreling the chest gently out to the side. Big breath in. Big breath out. All of that new space across the hips. Push into your front foot, and we're going to come back to your warrior two. Last breath. Inhale, bringing your hands towards your chest, prayer position. Start to come out a bend in the front leg and turn those toes towards the right. And we're here just on your right side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to bring the chin gently down to the chest. And just bring a little neck stretch, your nose towards your right shoulder. And then exhale, center. And inhale, your nose towards the left shoulder. Not pushing, just allowing that space. Chin to chest and center. Inhale to lift the head up. And we're going to exchange weight. So I'm going to stay in your alignment for a moment, moving away from your device, bending into your back leg, and then just bringing your weight towards the front of the mat. Feet at hips distance apart. So hands are still together here. We're just going to press them out in front of you. So we're really just kind of pushing the palms together, feeling activity on the outer arms, and we're in standing as equally as we can be. So feel your feet are really active on all four corners. As we breathe in, we're going to move like a crossbow, left hand sliding across the right arm, all the way across your chest. And then reach behind you, so you're in a kind of gentle twist here, spreading the fingertips nice and wide. Full breath in, paint a big arc with this left arm overhead. So you're feeling the inner arm stretch, and then a bit of space for your shoulder blade and trapezius and latissimus. And exhale, palms come together. And then let's take a big circle up, over, and round to connect with the palm. Let's do that one more time, nice big space. And over, palms together. Full breath in, take your right hand like a crossbow, pulling back, right hand across the chest, and then back into a gentle standing twist, spread fingers. Inhale, we're going to paint a big energetic arc up, and hands together, and down. Big breath in, up, and hands together. Shoulders aligned to the front, and then just one last time, feeling that nice swerve of the chest, the shoulders, and then palms together. Inhale, interlace those fingers, and let's invert the palms, stretching your fingertips. Inhale to rise, and exhale to open. Good, so hands at your sides here. You're going to get a little bit of a feeling of flow going through your half salutation. You're staying at the front of the mat, but I'm just going to face you for a moment. We're going to link into the thumbs, stretch your fingertips forwards, press into the feet, and keep almost a feeling of trying to pull apart the thumbs so there's activity down the shoulder blades out. We're going to move those fingertips up, inhale all the way above you. And as we exhale, we're going to move into a side stretch, so your whole body is facing the front of the room, but we're moving over towards the left, and it doesn't have to be very much. Inhale, come center, and exhale over to the other side. Inhale, center. Exhale, separate the arms, bend the knees, and we're just going to stroke the air with both hands down towards your fold. Inhaling, hands to shins, flat back, crown presses forwards. And then exhale, look away from your tailbone down as you drop the head. We're going to repeat that. So bringing the arms open wide to stand back into standing pose, arms above you. Exhale, prayer position towards the chest. Linking into the thumbs, stretching the fingers. Inhale. Exhale, side stretching. It doesn't have to be too far over. Inhaling, center. Exhaling to the other side. Inhaling, center. Exhaling, separating the arms, bending the knees generously to swan dive down. Dropping the head, hands to your shins. Inhale, bringing the crown forwards. So you're taking a flat back. Shoulders draw back from the ears. Exhale, bend the knees and refold. Dropping the head, dropping the arms. And then just taking one hand to each opposite elbow for raggy dog. So today, just take a couple of little tiny soft bounces downwards. So you're feeling a shift through the elbows and shoulders. And then we're going to take a generous swing towards your left side with that whole raggy doll arrangement, and then over towards the right, and just find and explore a little bit of space for your flanks. Big breath in, big breath out. Start to release your arms down. We're going to take a little sit down on the heels. Bring your chest up. And then from the front of your mat, we're going to either walk your hands back to find your bum, or just take a bit of energy forward through the arms to land yourself softly or soft-ish. Let's cross the legs. Full breath in to rise the arms above you. Exhaling, we're just going to drape the arms down in a little fold to drop your head. And you should feel one glute, whichever leg is on top of the other. You'll feel that glute stretch a little bit more than the other. And we're just going to drop the head nice and soft. Full breath in. Full breath out. Inhale. Slide your hands towards you as if someone's picking you up at the shoulders. And then rise the crown. Inhale, we're going to lift the arms as we lift the knees and exchange which foot is in front of which. Exhale, coming back into cross legs. Let's drape the chest down. Give your head a shake as it's coming down. You might be on the forearms or just towards the fingertips here. Inhale, as if someone's picking you up by a piece of string at your shoulders, so the head and the arms are slightly dragging to come up and sit tall. And then we're just going to take ourselves left hand to the right knee, moving around into your twist gently. You might hear some sounds through your back, shoulders wrapping back. And we're moving here to bring your right hand down and to move your left arm up and overhead. So whichever arm is in front of the body is just going to move up and behind you. And you might actually start to spin your chest slightly open towards the sky. So we want to find a bit of space in the chest, somewhere without pressure, and then move back gently whenever you're ready. And then just moving around to the other side. Right hand to the left knee and moving around into your twist. But we're not staying long, we're just going to land that left hand, pick up that right arm, whichever arm ends up in front of your body. And then just take your chest gently open. So you're just trying to find a bit of space in the heart space, opening up the arm without pressure on the head or neck, and then moving all the way back around to the front of the mat. Full breath in, let's take the knees up, give them a squeeze. And exhale, we're going to come down for one last pose. So knees are up as they were at the start, all the way down to your vertebrae, all the way down to your head, your shoulders. And here we're going to find a little hip opener. Option one, which is our deepest pose, might be that your ankles move together And then the knees fall apart gently and slowly like a big book until the soles of the feet come together in Baddha Konasana on the ground. So you might be in that Supta, Baddha Konasana, that relaxed butterfly pose. This is a really strong one for the hips, but really nice and balanced. So listen to your body, your back here, listening to the hip joints, and even the knees here might give you some complaint if they're feeling a little tender. If there is something that's not feeling quite right there, you can bring around a couple of cushions to go under each knees, taking you just back from the edge of that stretch. Or option, you can leave your knees up towards the sky and just bring your hands towards your belly. And we'll just come here as a landing for your back, whether your hips are open or not here. Don't worry too much. So we're going to take 5 full breaths. Allowing your breath to flow in and out, and maybe imagining it really reaching somewhere that you need to, again, somewhere that you want to undo, some little stagnant corner of the body that you might be aware of. Whether it's in the throat because we haven't been communicating lately, or in the chest if we've not been expressing ourselves, or in the hips if we've been working quite hard physically or feeling a little bit stale in our emotions. We're just going to breathe into those places and almost imagine that your breath is almost like a powerful agent, some sort of potion which blows any cobwebs away from those places. So your exhale breath is freeing up space. Let's take the last 2 breaths. You don't have to stay in hip stretch. You can always move out and join me here in semi-supine. Whenever you're ready, we're going to start to engage the muscles around the hips if you're in open stretch. And you can even bring your hands around the sides of the thighs and help those to come up to meet in your semi-supine, all of us together. Let's stretch the arms above your head along the ground, stretch your legs all the way out. Even point and wriggle the toes. And then exhale, flop your arms either side of you. Tuck the chin gently back towards your chest for Shavasana. And again, we'll only be here a handful of deep breaths, but this time letting yourself tune out as fully as possible from instruction, and just feel the energy, feel the places it's rising, the places that we can let go. Coming into this time to restore. So just feeling like your body is allowed to suspend itself on the floor. Bringing your breath more fully in and more fully out. Let's imagine a space where we just exist. Nothing to complete, just in this moment, whatever this moment means. Take 2 last breaths to feel yourself allowing that suspension and surrender. Maybe feeling a little bit of joy creep into that feeling of being more in the moment. When you're ready, we're just going to bring the knees gently up towards your chest. Give yourself a little squeeze and tumble out onto your left side. And we're going to come up really slowly, maybe keeping the eyes closed if you can. So come up to cross legs. So let's finish with your left hand to the upper chest, nice and spread. And your right fingertips finding the ground, either in front of your cross legs or beside you. And just feel like that hand that is touching the ground is connecting to the outer world, outer experience, whatever sounds and light there is that you can feel and hear. Your left hand is grounding and anchored at your center, that connection that we've made. Our breath, our energy, that ability to be present, or that practice of that ability. So let's bring those two worlds together, palm to palm. Bring that towards the chest, rise to yourself, and honor yourself with a bow. Namaste. Don't worry if you've fallen asleep. Thank you for joining me for this more mellow flow. I hope you're feeling good and that you are will have had a nice Monday. So I'll see you at class or soon here. Namaste, Kai.